Hello, and welcome to the first episode of our United States playthrough in Roll the Waves 3. We're starting in 1890. We have the maximum fleet size, we have slight tech variation, we have the airfields set at 60 aircraft with like regular research speeds. I didn't slow anything down. And the reason why is that I believe once we get to 1970, pretty sure our technology stops advancing entirely. So if we want to go to 1990 in this campaign, we're going to get a little bit uh, left behind as the AI keeps advancing, like missile technology and all that, and we'll be stuck with 1970s tech. But yeah, other than that, it's just a plain Jane playthrough. I apologize for being a little bit overdue. I did say I would, start the new campaign in a couple weeks. I know it's been longer than that, but things have been hectic around here. Um, I had planned to start it last week on Saturday, actually, but we got hit by a really, really bad storm here in southwest Pennsylvania, and we lost our power um, from like Saturday night through Tuesday. So that's been troublesome, a lot of stuff to mess around with, and we had like giant trees down on the power lines and the cable lines and everything else. So this was sort of the, last priority I needed to work on this week. But here we are. I appreciate everyone who's come back. I appreciate everybody who might be new. We still need to think of a cool name for the campaign. We had Rise of the Dragon, and we had Blood and Iron. Well, Rise of the Dragon for Japan, Blood and Iron for our Germany playthrough. And we need a catchy little nickname for this playthrough. So let's take a look at our ships. I started out, it showed me my ship list, but I swapped over the map so I could look at the map while I talked here. But let's see what we got. So we've got 3 battleships to start with, which is respectable. We've got 2 heavy cruisers and 3 light cruisers. And we're pretty consistent on our class types. Like we got there, these are all Michigan class, these are all New York class, then we got 2 Baltimores, a Chicago, and even our Corvettes are kind of synchronized as far as the classes go. So let's see what our Michigans look like. They're small, 7,100 tons, 17 knots, which is actually pretty speedy for battleships of this, like starter battleships. We got 4 10-inch guns. They look like they've got the side placement on those, which is fine. 6 6-inch guns and 8 2-inch guns. So, yeah, I mean, they could probably be fine, I suppose. The 6-inch guns are kind of encouraging. It's nice to have a little bit of extra secondary weapons. And then we got the New Yorks. These are 4,600 tons, which are pretty lightweight for heavy cruisers. Our Baltimore light cruisers are bigger than this, but we got 2 7-inch guns that look like in single turrets. We got 6 5-inch guns, and then 8 2-inch guns. Speedy, fairly speedy for heavy cruisers, 19 knots. Our light cruisers are a little bit on the slow side. I like to have them at least 21 knots, but let's take a look. 2 8-inch guns, so they're armed better than our heavy cruisers. 8 6-inch guns, and then 10 3-inch guns. Very, very heavily armed light cruisers for this era. And then we have the Chicago, 2 8-inch guns, 6 6-inch guns. Yeah, not bad. They have torpedo tubes. What about the Baltimore? They have torpedo tubes, 3, so probably 2 sides and a forward. And then we're not going to look at the Corvettes really. They're just Corvettes. So what we need to do here is set up the initial play. So we need to set our doctrine. We're going to go for gunnery and torpedo warfare. So we'll go ahead and apply that. We'll do float plane, helicopter, search priority. It's not going to be for a while. And everything else can stay the same. We won't have to worry about this screen again until we get the Naval Academy. Oh, and that's an interesting thing about, I guess I should have gone over that. I skipped right through that screen without thinking about it, the initial setup screen. But we get to look at our advantages and whatnot. So we got research advantage, radar, and electronics. That's going to be a while down the road, but once we get it, that'll be really nice. We got bonus tech for superimposed turrets front and back. And then we got bonus tech aircraft carrier conversion. So there we go. And we got rapid economic growth and technology leader. And we have oil. So we're starting out a little bit low in the totem pole here as far as like economy and whatnot. About on par with Germany. We're about on par with Italy. Well, no, Italy's pretty far ahead, but we're ahead of Japan, Spain, and Austria-Hungary right now. But that will increase over time. So let's save the game here real quick. Go into research. What do we care about? We do need naval guns. I do like ship design on high. Let's do fire control so we can hopefully get access to better fire controls as we go. And then that's probably fine, right? Maybe turrets and gun mountings. That might be a good one. Let's do that. So we got 4 on high, the rest are on medium. Let's crank our budget up to 12%. I know there are diminishing returns past 10%, but I've always been like every sort of game I play like this, I am let's build up our docks as well. I've always been like I really go heavy into like research and technology type of thing for strategy games. Like I would rather have fewer good ships than I would rather have um, more bad ships. Like even if I'm outnumbered, I just go for quality over quantity, as they say. So we have little bit extra monthly balance. That's with dock size being increased, so that's pretty cool. What do we want to do with it? Do we want to? We have 1,700 in funds, which is almost nothing. So let's go one turn and see what we get, and then maybe we'll start a little bit of construction. That'll give us a little bit of buffer just in case something really weird happens. But we'll go one turn and then we'll start constructing things. So here we go. This will be the first turn of the new campaign. A campaign which I still need to think of a name of before I actually post this. So here we go. Oh, hang on. No, let's assign our own Pacific guy. Where is he? Well, I'm looking right at it, I think. Is this Northern Pacific or Central Pacific that I care about? Probably Central. So assign a commander. Yeah, we're not going to have stats for anyone, so we're going to go for Alan. There we go. Next turn. Here we go. So this is the first turn. So Germany's laid down a new battleship, Britain's laid down a battleship, Japan laid down a battleship, and then Italy laid down 2 heavy cruisers. Cool. Probably won't be building many battleships this early on. We won't build any really until we get a new design. But we do need some ships that can fight, and those Baltimores are looking pretty good, even if they're a little bit slow. But we do have a dock size of 10,000, so maybe we could build some like 5,000 ton light cruisers. So let's take a look. We're gonna go for our typical. I don't know if how many of you are seeing this for the first time, but if you've followed me at all here, I do have a pretty typical way of fighting these early wars. And that is to get a light cruiser with a decent engine. So you want your engine to run well for this. We're going to take the deck down to 1 inch to save on weight. Uh, and we want speed. We need to maintain speed. This is a lot of 6-inch guns. They're very heavy, so we're going to crank those down to 5-inch guns. That leaves us some more weight remaining. We do want to have torpedoes, extra torpedoes here. And then we go up, if we can, to 22 knots. That's going to be a little bit too much for us. So maybe we'll just stick to 21. And then that'll let us bring the weight, the tonnage down on it to save us a little bit of money as well. We don't need all these 2-inch secondaries. We have a lot of 5-inch main guns here. These are our main guns. We have local fire control. We're going to need ammo because we miss a lot here. These 5-inch guns shoot decently fast. So the whole premise behind this ship is that we'll be able to build hopefully a few of them, and they'll be fast enough to catch up to enemy ships, and we're just going to get in close and hit them with broadsides and torpedoes. And maybe we can bring the guns down to 1 each. Would that let us get up to 22 knots? Almost. What if we... hmm. That brings our price up. So let's go back down to 21 knots and try to bring our costs down a little bit. So here we go. That saved us about 200 or so, 200 monthly cost. We're up to 15,620 for our main, like our total. So how much was that before? It was 18,000. Yeah. So we're getting some decent savings. And then we leave a little bit of weight remaining for like a fire control upgrade later on if we really want one. And this is fine. I mean, this is perfectly fine. Let's check and make sure it's okay. That's fine. Actually, we may as well just bring it down to 1 gun per turret. If we're going to get a penalty on it anyway, then let us bring the tonnage down on this a little bit. So these are going to be small, pretty small, but they're going to be cheap. There we go. There it is, the San Francisco class. We lost another like 2,000 or so, 2,500 maybe on the total cost. The monthly has come down even further. So we're to build like a squadron of 3. Maybe we can build these in 3s and run them in 3s. All right, yeah, so this will be the San Francisco. We'll save and finish it. We do need to organize our divisions. So let's create 1, 2, 3, 4 battleship divisions. In fact, we're the United States. We'll probably have more in the future. So we're going to go with 5 battleship divisions. We're going to go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 heavy cruiser divisions. And this is just so I don't have to go in and do this later. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 light cruiser divisions, and then a bunch of destroyer divisions. I'm just tapping the enter button. As you can see, it keeps new division selected, and then when you hit enter, this pops up, and OK is going to be your automated thing. So we got 12 destroyer divisions. Okay, that's probably enough destroyer divisions for now. We can even build destroyers yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the... it's been a while since I played. Here it is, division role. We're going to set this as our flag for the first battleship division. We're going to assign the second division as a core of number 1. And then 3 is going to be independent. We're going to take 4 and we're going to set it as the core of number 3. So we essentially have 2, squadrons essentially of divisions where 2 is following around 1 and 4 is following around 3. Then what we're going to do for the heavy cruisers is we're going to do screen for oops for one, and we're going to keep the division numbers like level with what we're doing here. Like one goes with one, two's going to go with two. That way, when we get to moving stuff around a little bit, like around the world, if we do that in the future, it makes keeping track of stuff much easier. It's like you know that three goes with three, four goes with four. There we go. So that's all done. And then we'll throw five in with five as well. I was kind of tempted to leave five as kind of independent because five will probably be like our reserve battleship division. I really don't know how powerful a player can get as the United States, but I wasn't picturing more than four divisions of battleships, but who knows? So this is going to take a minute here, but another reason why I was going to start this last Saturday and I gave it a little bit extra week or two was I was waiting for more votes to come in. So as you can see, we did settle for United States. It did get the most mentions on the page there in the last video we made at the end of the Germany campaign. But I was kind of hoping for a little bit more voting and hear a little bit more, voices. But it's okay. But the U.S. did basically win, which means I get to play out my little power fantasy here of playing as the United States. And I do have some reasons behind that as well. I'll explain them as the episode continues. I can't. Funny enough, I can't concentrate too much while I do this, otherwise I'll start hitting the wrong buttons. But I do get to play out my little power fantasy, and then next episode, I'm sure you guys and gals are going to assign me to some loser nation like China or Austria-Hungary or something where I'm going to be struggling like hardcore mode. Oh, this was Division 4. There we go. And then number 5. And when I say loser nation, I don't mean in real life. I just mean here in the game in 1890, starting out where you're super weak. All right. So everything is good. Let's save the game before anything stupid. I've been so paranoid about the power going out here because it was out for so long. Our unrest went up a little bit. It's up to 3 somehow. I don't know why, but all right, here we go. This is pretty good. We got the divisions set up. Oh, we need to assign ships to divisions. So let's go ahead and put all of our Michigans in Division 1. There we go. We're going to put the New Yorks in Division 1. Put the Baltimores in Division. Actually, let's just put them all in Division 1 so we can fight in threes because during the last run as Germany, we kept having like, I was running things in squadrons of 2, and I'd end up like, one of my divisions had 2 light cruisers in it, while one of theirs would have like 4 or 5 or something, and we were always outnumbered. So we're gonna see, and we're waiting for our design to finish. So here we go. It's already been almost 20 minutes. Hang on. Some ships or divisions have no commander assigned. Do you want to have ship and division commanders assigned automatically? We're gonna say yes to all. So I reinstalled the game because I was having a problem, but let's read this first. So tension with Russia or Britain is reduced, Russia's increased, Japan's increased, Spain's reduced, Austria's increased. And these are all just random chance things. But I reinstalled the game because when I was trying to like delete the old saves like from Germany and Japan and stuff, like it wouldn't like get rid of the saves. Like I was trying to get rid of them and they wouldn't go away. Um so I was a little bit nervous about, saving the game and all that, and like it gets overwritten or something weird. But we'll see. Fingers crossed here. I will make a backup as I always do. But anyway, let's keep going here. Next turn. What the heck? Well, we can lower some tensions with Russia. We can raise tension with Russia. Yeah, let's get budget and a little bit of tension with Russia. Why not? Excellent. Oh, what a nice monthly balance. All right, yeah, we're gonna change that monthly balance right now when we start building three of these. In fact, let's build six of them. We got the money to do it. That'll give us two squadrons of San Francisco class. Oh, we're building stuff too. I didn't even check that. Look at that. We're building four heavy cruisers. Excellent. Are these any good? Six 7-inch guns. That's pretty sweet. 20 knot heavy cruisers. And then two 7-inch. Not as good, but eight 6-inch guns. That's respectable. Yeah, we only have New York class. I really dislike having so many mixed classes, but that's fine. It's all right. But yeah, so one of the reasons I really wanted to play the US, so we got tension with France is down, tension with Japan is down, tension with Austria-Hungary is down, and tension with Germany and Austria-Hungary increases because of a bombastic leader. But I think I've told you all before about an old game I used to play. There we go. There goes our budget that we just got. It was called Pacific Theater of Operations 2. I played it on my Super Nintendo. I'm sure it was also available on the PC back then. This is like the late 80s probably. So our scientists report that they're working on the problems of belt and sloping armor, but it's eluded them. It was probably on the computer back then as well, because they did a lot of ports back and forth, like from computer games to NES and Super Nintendo and all that. Hey, we got some blueprints here. It's a nice little light cruiser. I like this kind of light cruiser. I really do. Where it's just like it's fast. It's got a little bit of armor on it. I don't like the 2-inch deck. It's got a little bit of armor on it, and it's just got a bunch of 6-inch guns with a couple of torpedo tubes. In this game, Pacific Theater of Operations 2, it was like a map. It was basically like it was a strategy game, and it was a map, and it was about. Well, I can't exactly zoom in on it because this is almost accurate. It's about this big. It showed about this much of the Pacific, but well, actually, no, it showed way more than that. But it showed India. Actually, yeah, it showed India as well. It showed this much of India. It showed Australia. I don't know if it showed New Zealand, and it would show the American West Coast and the American East Coast as well. And it showed all this stuff. And you played as either Japan or the United States, and it was all turn-based, like this sort of is. And each turn was like a day, or like it's like maybe like a day because there's like 30 turns per month or something. And there goes our budget again. It was a naval game, so you controlled the head of the navy for either the United States or Japan. Japan had like really amazing aircraft, and the United States had a lot more ships and whatnot. But the ships were like lower quality at the beginning of the war, like they weren't as good. So Japan had quality and smaller numbers. Hey, the Brooklyn is faster than its design speed. That's pretty cool. We have too few armored cruisers. Well, we just finished some. All right, we just finished a couple. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put the New Yorks into another division. We're gonna put those in Division 2. And we're gonna put the Pueblo when it finishes. So that's gonna be 1 month. I'm just gonna wait and do it now. Or wait and do it then. All right, our new training has applied. That means 1 year has passed. We get new docks. They only went up by 500 tons? Or no, maybe they privately built some. This is no concern to us, what Italy's or Albania's doing. Italy's doing in Albania. Okay. Nice. So we gained some privately built dockyards as well as what we were working on ourselves. Let's compare ourselves to other countries here. So they've got 12,000, they've got 15,000, 14. So we do need to keep working on our docks. So let's go ahead and do that. And since we're short, apparently, on, did we finish our other Pueblo? We did not. Since we're short on heavy cruisers, armored cruisers as they call them here, we might build a couple more, make a couple more New Yorks to go into that squadron. So let's see how much it costs to build a New York. 600, we can build that. So we'll do two. There we go. So back to Pacific Theater Operations. Like it's pixel graphics, pretty typical of like strategy games by, especially by a company called Koei, Koei. They made a lot of RPG games, or at least they were the ones who ported them over. I don't know if they were the actual like developers of the game. So these go into Division One. So we have a four-strong fighting squadron there, and the gameplay sort of went like in a loop where demand there. We could raise some tensions. Let's go ahead and raise tensions. Okay. We gain prestige. And the loop was you would have a monthly meeting. Oh, man. Well, we'll just do this to avoid losing prestige because our unrest is pretty low. We don't have to worry about it that much. We don't want to raise tension any further. It's at yellow now. And so you'd have like a monthly meeting where you do like all your budget stuff. And it was a card game. It's actually really cool. You got cards at the bottom of your screen, and each card was an action against your other like government council people, like your um, I don't know, like the staff or whatever of your president. So you'd have like in the United States, you'd have like the president, and he'd be sitting in the middle, and like to his left and right, there'd be the head of the Navy, which was you, the head of the Army. Then there's like a chief of staff or something, and there's like like one other guy, and each of them were sort of like weighted towards certain things. Like the army guy wants to improve the army, so he's like your chief rival. Let's see. We increased tension with Germany. We increased tension. We decreased tension with Britain. We increased with Russia, and increased with Spain. And so, like the army guy's like your chief rival, but then there's like a guy who's like all focused on like the economy. There's like another guy who's focused on like helping like overseas and stuff. And you got like the president who whatever. But you could like sway them back and forth using your cards. So there were like actions you could take with your cards. One of them was like uh, for each decision. So there'd be like a budget decision. There'd be like a foreign policy decision. There would be like a national supplies, like fuel and things like that decision. We have a little bit extra money, so let's see if we can find out something to do with it. Maybe we'll build a couple more armored cruisers. I like the Pueblo being 21 knots, but I don't like the weaponry on it. So maybe we'll design our own. So let's do that while I talk at you. So you'd have all these decisions to make. And in the decision, you would go in and you'd choose your priorities. Like let's say it's the budget. So you'd have to set a budget for the army. You'd have to set a budget. You'd propose it. You're proposing a budget for the army, for the navy, for like the nation, like national supplies, like fuel and all that, for growth, and then for like research. And there's like numbers, just like this displacement box. You tick the numbers up and down, and you'd raise and lower your choices, and that would affect the economy overall, how much money you were willing to try to invest. All right, we're gonna get rid of the torpedoes. I don't like torpedoes on heavy cruisers. And I'm going to take the deck down to 1 inch. And that saves us nice tonnage. And 6,500 tons is probably pretty good. We're at 21 speed. So let's make these 6-inch secondaries, and we're going to load up on 6-inch secondaries. As many as we can. So there we go. 10 6-inch. Yeah, we'll go to 6,600. And this is probably fine. We'll need some ammo because the 6-inch guns are like our primary ship killers. or ship pummelers at least. 6,700. This is kind of an expensive ship. It's mainly the speed. Mainly the speed. But this is fine. This will be fine. San Diego class. This just gives us something that we can build essentially. Yeah, 6 inches. You know what? Let's go to 5-inch secondaries. There we go. We add some more. All right. So you tick up your choices in Pacific Theater Operations. Okay, well, let's go down. All right. And we'll add a little bit more ammo, and then we can take off some tonnage to save some money. And then after you made your choices and submit your proposal, all the other AIs, like all the other people in the council or whatever, would submit their proposals, and you get to look at them. And some of them were sort of so the same things you wanted, and sort of some things you didn't want. And you'd basically go around, and each person would get a turn, and it would go until like a decision was reached, essentially. And the way you got to a decision was everyone would vote for their own proposal. Like you're all voting for your own proposal. Okay. But you could sway people over to your side with like like a convince card, like convince them to vote for you. There was one that would make people just like it wouldn't convince them to your side, but it would like get rid of their proposal. Like it would just reset their proposal, and they'd go neutral, and then they would vote for whatever proposal is closest to their own, essentially, after that. So they'd go neutral. There was one that would make them throw away their proposal and like take your side, so you like get a vote in the council, and it's 5 votes. So like you generally want to have three, unless there's multiple proposals on the table, then like it's whoever has the most wins. Let's see here. We got some ups and downs and tension. Let's go to the build. We're going to build 2 of these San Diegos. There we go. Yep. And then, if you can win, and there was another, like there was like the ultimate card where it was like you try to convince the whole council. And the way you avoid being convinced was one of your cards was like a refusal, like a refusal card. So you got to hope you have a refusal, and you only get like 5 or 6 cards or something if you're like one of the majors, like the president gets like a bunch, the army guy and the navy guy get a bunch. And then like the lesser people get a little bit less cards, so they're a little bit easier to manipulate. But you kind of had to keep like a refusal card in your pocket the whole time, otherwise, someone would jump in and convince you. Uh, well, we're getting tension no matter what, so we may as well try to get some budget. We're gonna lose the prestige. But that was like that was the budget. Like that was how you got your money and made your decisions and stuff for the game. And there's also like an overall strategy um, screen. I think I like our San Francisco's more than I like these. So we're gonna put these into group 3, and we're gonna put the San Francisco's into group 1 because we want these to be in the fight more often with our battleships. And then we'll have another group finish here in just a minute, and we'll build 3 more San Francisco's. And there was like a screen where it was like, oh, nice, we get armor design. Like after you figured out your budget for the year. Oh, come on, I hate how these get all mixed up. After you figured out your budget for the year, like you got to go into your production screen, and you got to choose how many airplanes you're building that month. You get to choose how many like transports you're building that month. The transports are like they move fuel and troops and stuff around, so they're really important. And then you get to like figure out how many ships you're building. And just like this game, it would have you go in here to build a ship, it would have like a list of ships of each class. So like you go into battleships, and for like the United States, it would have like the Pennsylvania, the West Virginia class, like the Arizona. I'm not sure if they had Arizona class, but it had like all these different classes, and they were all like historically designed ships essentially. And they didn't have like a list of their guns or anything. They would just have like the Michigan would have like a list of like stats essentially, like attack, armor, speed, fuel capacity, stuff like that. And you would like um, choose what ship you want based off of the stats. Do we want to build anything more? Maybe a couple more armored cruisers? Yeah, how about two more armored? Let's do three more. Our budget's climbing a little bit here. But then later on, if you kept on working on your technology, improving your technology, they want to reduce. We're going to end up at war with freaking Russia of all people. Let's get it watered down, even though it's going to cost us some budget. And if you kept on working on your technology, like investing into your tech, you could like get better airplanes. You could get original ship designs, and you got to go in and like change the stats on like a hull class, and like like you'd get like tier one, tier two, tier three, and like the tier ones would have like the least amount of stats you could assign. Um, yeah, let's do it. We might end up at war with Russia. Who cares? All right, but you'd end up with like all these stats you could assign to your ships. Like if it was an aircraft carrier class, you could assign how many aircraft it carries. You like air defense, like all these different stats and stuff. It was really cool, and I always liked playing that game when I was a teenager or whatever, like in the 80s and 90s. And I played the heck out of the game. I put like thousands of hours into it. And like the US reminded me, like playing this game sometimes reminds me and gives me that nostalgia. So I really wanted to do the US. And I know this game isn't the same. I think it's a lot different in many ways. But it is just kind of nice looking at the map and seeing, Old Glory on there. But we are almost to 40 minutes on this first episode, and we're basically at war with Russia already. It's only March of 1892. I've been doing a lot of rambling. I hope that I haven't annoyed folks too much. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and record another episode right after this one. But first, I have to go find a picture of an American battleship of some kind, or maybe an American carrier, because I've been doing battleships for my like placeholder. I did the Nagato for Japan, and then I did Bismarck for Germany. So who knows? I also need to pick out a name. So it might take me a few minutes. I might need to get up and walk around a bit and think. But once I get that done and I start this episode uploading, I will immediately start recording a new one, which will get posted the day after tomorrow, which will be Monday. So this episode is coming up on Sunday. It'll be premiering at noon Eastern time, which is when I post all my videos to premiere. And I really, really appreciate all of you who have stuck with me and kept watching. Again, I apologize very much for this episode being the start of this season being a little bit later. But like I said, I was waiting originally for more votes to come in. I thought maybe more people would have stuff to say. I maybe overestimated a little bit the number of people that comment, but then almost right after that decision, we got hit by a nasty storm. So in order to avoid getting into a war immediately, in this episode, at the very end of this episode, we're just going to save that for next episode to see how it pans out with Russia. I don't know how we're going to fight a war, honestly. Like we're not in any condition to fight a war with each other. So maybe at best I could like scramble the first battleship and first like cruiser divisions over to like Asia for maybe 1 month or something and just see if I can get into an engagement with them. But then I'd have to bring them right back because they'll be, they won't have the supplies they need over there. But if I can get into an engagement and win like one decent fight, that'll be it basically. Like they won't be able to continue a war. That's something I can do. I can work on my Pacific. Well, actually, I have 80 capacity here already, but I could work on my Pacific holdings a little bit with some of this money. Like stop building once I finish like these New Yorks. Maybe put some of that money into a few gun emplacements and Midway, and maybe I don't picture anyone actually attacking Dutch Harbor, but I could put some gun emplacements just to keep like bad events at bay, and also improve the harbor, the capacity there at Hawaii. If I improve it by like one step, we should be good for basically the next 30 years. But it gives me a little bit of reach. Anyhow, I've been rambling. I've been deliberately rambling to get us over the 40-minute mark. But I will see you all. Well, you'll be seeing me the next episode on Monday, but I'll be going and recording that in just a few minutes here. So, as usual, uh, take care of yourselves. I'll see you next time and sail safe.